This is my first video update from Athens, Greece on this Saturday morning, March 25th. Independence Day here in Greece. Today commemorates the War of Independence in 1821 here in Greece against the Ottoman Empire and the eventual establishment of an independent Greek state. And as you can see, we are preparing for a parade. So let's talk about some news. And before all this stuff gets moving towards Syntagma Square and the city center, let's check some of it out. So yesterday was I believe the 24th anniversary of the NATO bombing of Serbia, marking 24 years since the NATO illegal bombing of Serbia using depleted uranium, which lasted for, I believe, 78 days and nights and caused all kinds of suffering, death, and sickness. And today, in 2023, we actually have the U.S. ambassador to Serbia, and I'm going to find his quote here, actually telling the Serbs to just let bygones be bygones. According to Ambassador Christoforou, the Serbian people will never set aside their grief, but I believe they are strong enough to set aside their grievances. The United States' dedication to Serbia, our partnership with Serbia, is unwavering, as is our commitment to diplomacy. So the U.S. ambassador thinks that the people of Serbia should just not be upset about being bombed illegally for 78 days and nights with weapons like depleted uranium, and just forget all about it and join NATO and join the EU, join the very organization that illegally bombed you. So that was yesterday, a sad day, but a day that Serbia and the entire world should never forget. And we have some tensions flaring up in Syria, and it looks like we may be heading towards some sort of conflict. Hard to tell at the moment, but we had the drone incident a couple of days ago. The U.S. then launched airstrikes against Syria aimed at Iran, because they claim that this was an Iranian drone that killed one U.S. Military contractor and injured 5 other American personnel at this U.S. base, one of 3 U.S. bases, from what I understand, that illegally occupies the northeast of Syria. And I woke up this morning and we had more fighting taking place in this area, specifically at 2 air bases. There were more attacks on these air bases, and the Pentagon and the Biden White House, they have come out with statements saying that the U.S. will retaliate against these attacks. Now, it's early in the morning here on Saturday, so I don't know how all of this is going to unfold as the day goes along, but things are getting very, very tense in Syria, in the occupied lands of Syria, which the U.S. illegally occupies, and the U.S. is stealing the natural resources and the oil of the Syrian people. But things are getting very, very tense. And we're going to have to see how this plays along. I am a bit worried about all of this, and this tension comes right after we had good news connected to Syria. A week after we had the good news connected to Syria, which was that there was a general opening up and rapprochement towards Syria and the Assad government. Just a couple of days ago, we had the news that even Saudi Arabia, a country which was an active participant in the regime change in Syria, they announced that they would be reopening their consulate in Damascus. And so we had some good news. It looked like Syria was finally coming to a conclusion, the horrific war in Syria, except for the U.S. occupation. The U.S. occupation was the one piece of the puzzle that still needed to be resolved, but everything else was looking good for Syria and the Assad government. And now we have these tensions flaring up, and it's getting to a very dangerous level. I'm sure the neocons are going to be pushing the Biden White House very hard to not only strike out against Syria, but to also go after Iran, because the claims are that much of this is being fueled by the Iranian government. It's still early to make a definite assessment as to what's going on, but this is something that we're going to have to monitor very closely. Me and Alexander, on many shows on the Duran, we actually mentioned this. We said that the U.S. troops in Syria, given everything that was going on, all the diplomatic activity between Saudi Arabia and Syria, between Turkey and Syria, all of the diplomacy that was taking place to wind down the Syrian war would leave the American soldiers in the northeast of Syria occupying that territory in Syria, would leave them very much exposed and isolated. And sure enough, after we did those videos, a week or two later, we now have tensions rising in Syria. So the best thing for the U.S. military to do, the best thing for the Biden White House to do, is to get those troops out of Syria. 3 bases. Why do you have 3 bases? Why are there 3 U.S. bases illegally occupying Syria and illegally stealing Syria's oil? Wind it down. Get those American troops out of there. They're at risk. They're in danger. They're isolated. They're surrounded. They're exposed, and all it does is it leads to risking some sort of wider conflict between the U.S. and in this case Iran, and that's exactly what's happening. So maybe that's the purpose of keeping those American troops there. They act as a type of tripwire, which is exactly what the neocons want. So let's see here. What else should we talk about? As this parade looks like this parade is about to get underway in the next 15 to 20 minutes, I imagine. Let's move over here. Let's go to New York College. In cooperation with the State University of New York, Empire State College, the University of Greenwich. All right. What else should we talk about? The collective West is freaking out about Putin's meeting with Xi Jinping, and Macron has announced that he will be traveling to China, as will Spanish Prime Minister Mr. Sanchez. They said that they will be going to Beijing, and their goal is to not lose China to Russia. That's their goal. That is what Macron said. We can't let China go. We can't let China support Russia. And so Macron is going to go to Beijing. Sanchez is going to go to Beijing, and they're going to turn on the charm. They're going to turn on some of that EU, European globalist, neoliberal charm. And they're going to convince China to ditch Russia and to side with the European Union and the collective West. That's right. China and Xi Jinping take a chance on Macron. Why not? He's a... Okay, that's... He's a reliable, trustworthy guy, right? Macron and Sanchez. Oh, thanks. I'm going to get to the cloud world real soon. All right, thank you. Sanchez is a reliable guy. Macron is a reliable guy. Why not? Why not ditch Putin and side with those trustworthy EU leaders? Let's see. So that's the freak out from the European Union, and they're going to send their best guy, Emmanuel Macron, to charm over the Chinese. Mr. Zelensky, Mr. President Zelensky, he's still waiting for China to call, and his best buddy, Podolyak. I always forget what Podolyak's title is. It's something like spokesman of the office of the Ukrainian president or something like that. Anyway, I think he was one of Zelensky's theater buddies, one of his production staff. Could be wrong about that, but Podolyak, he said that things are being prepared for a big call between Zelensky and Xi Jinping, and the foreign minister Kaluba is on it, and Zelensky's staff is on it. And it could happen, any day now, but there's a problem, according to Podolyak, and that is that the Chinese they haven't clarified their position yet with regards to Ukraine and Russia. And so, the fact that China, according to Podolyak, is kind of on the fence and is a bit wishy-washy, they can't coordinate the phone call between Zelensky and Xi Jinping. It's called coping. Xi Jinping doesn't want to talk to Zelensky. He has no desire to talk to Zelensky, and why would he? Zelensky isn't calling the shots. He makes no decision. Why would Xi Jinping waste his time? I'm sure eventually they'll get a call put together, just because of diplomacy. The Chinese are going to probably say, you know what, let's just do this call, get it over with. But Xi Jinping, he knows that Zelensky, he makes no decisions. But boy, does Zelensky want to speak to Xi Jinping. I guess Zelensky wants some money from China. Get on the phone. Get on the phone with Xi Jinping. We need to arrange a phone call with the Chinese president, Podolyak. I need $4 billion to buy some homes in Beijing. Oh man. So what else do I have to talk about? I haven't prepared too well for this morning video, to be quite honest, so I'm kind of winging it. Schultz came out yesterday and said not to worry about Deutsche Bank. Everything is okay. Schultz said that Deutsche Bank is experiencing very healthy profits and all is good. Don't worry. Don't worry about Deutsche Bank collapse and meltdown, even though their stock plummeted by something like 15 or 20%, but don't worry about it. Deutsche Bank may be a mess, but hey, it's making money, according to Schultz. Oh boy. Let's see here. You can see everyone is lining up, waiting for the parade to start. How about we get to two clown worlds? Oh no, wait. How about this? This is kind of a clown world. The Iranian. Let me move over here so I can read this. The Iranian Foreign Ministry denounces the French establishment. We strongly condemn the suppression of the peaceful uprisings of the French people. We call on the French government to respect human rights and refrain from using force against the people of their country who are peacefully asserting their rights. The Iranian foreign minister is right. It's absolutely right. You see, it works both ways. They criticize Iran when there's protests in Iran, and well, Iran can criticize Macron when there are protests in France. It works both ways, but yeah, the Iranian foreign minister is 100% spot on with that statement. So let's find a place to do a clown world. This is going to be hard. Let's walk this way. So everyone always asks, Alex, where are all the people? Where are the people when you walk around? Well, here we go, people. A lot of people. Okay, we've hit the end of the road. The end of the road here. All right, let's do a clown world. Let's walk back. And we'll do a couple of clown worlds. And the first clown world is from Canada, where Joe Bidenopoulos, Greece, his favorite son, is or was. I don't know if he's still there. He was visiting Justin Trudeau, and the Canadian Parliament was really happy to see Biden. Standing ovation. Very happy to have Biden visiting Canada, even though, as you can see from this video, it looks like Trudeau and Biden kind of couldn't coordinate in which direction each would walk, but it happens. And then we had Justin Trudeau give Biden some chocolate. Peace chocolate is what Trudeau gave Biden, and according to the interwebs, this is chocolate that is made by Syrian refugees who had a factory in Damascus, and that factory got blown up when the U.S., when NATO, when the collective West was trying regime change in Syria. That factory was blown up where this family was producing their chocolates, and eventually they made their way to Canada, and they got a second chance at making chocolate, at building their business, and they succeeded, and they've built quite a successful chocolate brand in out of Canada. And this is what Trudeau gave Biden. He even said this is chocolate made by Syrian refugees.
You got the chocolate? Okay.
Thank you.
This is actually.
Come down a tiny bit there, my friend.
Yeah, appreciate it. Was that right? The Syrian refugees have started an extraordinary adventure business here in Canada and contributed much to what we do.
Well, depending on how tough the questions are, you can share your instructions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so very much.
I believe the chocolate company, I'm trying to find it. I believe it's something like Peace by Chocolate, I think is the name of the company. I'm not quite sure. Something like that. But Xi visited Putin last week, and they signed 15 agreements, including moving away from the USD in trade. And Biden meets with Trudeau, and Trudeau gives Biden peace chocolate made by Syrian refugees who lost their factory as a consequence of the U.S. Collective West Assad regime change operation. It's quite interesting. It's quite an interesting story, but good on the family that was able to rebuild, and Canada did provide them a home to rebuild and to restart their business. So it is a success story born out of tragedy, but born out of tragedy that did not have to happen in the first place. And interestingly enough, the clown world of this story isn't okay. You have the peace chocolate, and he gives it to Biden, and Biden does what Biden does, and he acts like Biden acts, and Trudeau does what Trudeau does, and Trudeau acts like Trudeau acts. And the interesting part about this is that you have the Syria thread, where Trudeau gives Biden peace chocolate made by Syrian refugees in Canada, and the same day you have conflict brewing in Syria between NATO, the Collective West, and Syria, Iran. And that's one thread of the story. The other thread of the story is that as Biden was giving this chocolate as Trudeau was giving this chocolate to Biden, a chocolate factory in Reading, Pennsylvania, on the very same day blew up. It's not a joke. I'm not making this up. So you have the Syria thread in this, but then you have the chocolate thread, which I don't know. Was Trudeau handing Biden the chocolate some sort of signal to like the globalist deep state operators? Okay, Trudeau has just passed over the chocolate to Biden. Let's ramp up tensions and conflict in Syria, and let's blow up this chocolate factory in Reading, Pennsylvania. Really, really bizarre. A bizarre thing that happened. I'm at a loss for words. Let's see. Let's do a final clown world. And this clown world, we go back to Serbia. And as I said yesterday, marked the 24 years since the NATO illegal bombing of Serbia. And we have this, now I don't know if he's the Austrian ambassador to Belgrade, or if he's some EU Austrian diplomat or official. I'm not quite sure what this guy's position is. His name is Gunther Fellinger, and he put up a tweet. And keep in mind, this is 24 years commemorating NATO's illegal bombing of Serbia. And he put up a tweet saying, I call Serbia, I'm reading you his tweet now, I call Serbia to build a memorial for Miss Madeline, referencing Madeleine Albright, for Miss Madeline in Belgrade. Same as there is one to honor her contribution for Balkan liberation in Pristina, and remove the anti-NATO memorial in Belgrade and build a memorial for the Jashari children, your special forces executed on purpose. So there's a memorial in Belgrade, which I believe is an area where NATO bombed and killed children, and there's a memorial honoring the children that were killed from the NATO bombings. And this guy is saying, let's remove that memorial and let's put up a memorial of Madeleine Albright. 500,000 Iraqi killed. And it was worth it, Madeleine Albright. This guy's a clown, but he's a delusional clown, in my opinion, and I will leave it at that. Let's see if this parade gets started. If you guys want to stick with me for 5 minutes, I'm going to stop talking about the news, and maybe in the next 5 minutes, the parade will get underway. No more news, just waiting for the parade. Waiting for things to start up. I'm not sure when it's going to get going, but if it doesn't start up in the next 5 minutes, then I'll cut off the video. Let's go to the corner over here. I think we're going to be waiting for a little bit longer. Let's walk down that way, and I'll wrap this video up. Oh, here's a bit of news that I forgot. If you stuck around for this video, Zelensky also said in a statement to Japanese media that he can't start a spring counteroffensive until he gets more weapons and more money. I need more money. But that's what he said. He said, we need more weapons, otherwise we can't start a spring counteroffensive. We need HIMARS, and we need ammunition, and helicopters, and fighter jets. That's what he said to a Japanese publication in an interview. So that's a bit of news. Okay, I am going to wrap this video up. The Duran.locals.com, Duran shop 10% off. Take care, everybody.
Going to pass through